Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is the Ithaca Project. 10th Law, Weights and Measures.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
To whomever finds this package, my name is Audrey Ann Pearson. I'm a lawyer for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I, along with my team, have been undertaking an operation of vital importance to the heart and soul of our country, of the entire civilized world. Enclosed, you will find a bundle of letters. Please ensure that they are delivered to the addressees as quickly as possible. I do not wish for them to learn of my death on the nightly news. God willing, this entire mission will never even make its way to the newsrooms of America, but nothing stays secret forever. If one person is to know of the courage, integrity, and self-sacrifice of my team, it may as well be you. Agent Alan Slater is one of the kindest men I have ever known. His compassion shone through when things were at their darkest. At the time I am writing this letter, I look towards a darkness I have never known. I will lean on him until my final moments. Atticus Kane deserves better than this. He is not a soldier. He is not a law enforcement officer. He is a scientist with a gentle heart. He fears for his friend, and I fear for him. Sergeant Buckholtz was not deserving of the treatment I gave him. Nobody knew what we were up against, and I should have scrutinized my own behavior before assessing his. He saved my life. They all saved my life, one time or another. But Buckholtz took on an immense responsibility, one that no reasonable person would take on voluntarily. Nobody is equipped to carry the weight of the world, yet our team now shoulders that burden as we descend into the most dangerous place in America, perhaps the entire world.
Welcome back to Cross Lake Dam. This is Josh, and I am your handler.
And I'm Matt, playing Sergeant Gilbert Herbert Buckholtz, and I'm fucking terrified.
Hey, this is Devin. I am playing Counselor Audrey Ann Pearson of the FBI.
And this is Jake playing Agent Alan Slater.
Hey everyone, Dan here playing Dr. Atticus Kane. Didn't fuck it up. Hey.
So, we're back, and big behind the curtain. We like to do these every once in a while. We just had a little chat about how, boy, sometimes games don't go the way you plan them.
Mm-hmm.
And
nothing wrong with that.
That's what makes role-playing games so much fucking fun. I crunched some numbers while editing the last episode. And not like, not like the whole point of it was to roll persuade, but obviously, like, if that was part of it, that was going to open a window into doing something. You guys made 4 attempts. Mm-hmm. Mathematically, the odds of failing all 4 at the percentages you rolled was 1.6%.
Yowza. We nailed it.
That's good.
I think Dice Crisis is pissed.
Yeah.
And what did we say in episode 8? That's a lower chance than a natural 1.
That's significantly lower.
Worse than a 1.
That's a 5% chance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, this is where you find
This is where
yourself
the
in
magic
games.
happens.
So we don't script or plan anything, but we do eventually sometimes come to points where we're like, oh shit, okay, can we all?
In my defense, I gave you guys ample opportunities
I
to
agreed.
negotiate with him.
We tried.
I took way more rounds than I needed to before I pulled the trigger.
And I think, that's why dramatic conflict works, because it has to be open-ended for it to be dramatic, right?
I'll also say, though, I have one of the highest persuades in the party.
Outstanding. The FBI negotiator.
What's your persuade?
Sitting on the
60.
sidelines.
I think Devin rolled it with like a plus 10 or plus 20, right?
I think I had like a plus 20. I made a good case.
Yeah.
He wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So we're just going to come right back in where we left off. You are in the bowels of Cross Lake Dam, in the main generator room. There is obvious signs of modification of whatever work Zwicky has been doing here, additional equipment, rewiring, all sorts of stuff. This platform in the center. This room is large, about 30 feet wide, about 40 feet tall, and about 60 feet end to end. And it is filled with catwalks, these actual generator implements. By the way, in case it's not obvious, don't know a goddamn thing about how hydroelectric dams work. All right?
Outstanding.
I had too much research to do to figure that out.
Deep dive. I did a deep dive before this, so I will correct you as we go.
Cool, great.
I did not.
And you guys are, all four of you, are standing around the slowly, laboriously breathing body of the unconscious Dr. Fritz Zwicky. You have stopped the immediate bleeding, at least the life-threatening bleeding. But this is certainly a life-threatening wound. We're going to go right from there. The one thing I'm going to do is just from this entire scene and what's transpired, I'm going to have you all roll a sanity check. One if you fail. I'm sorry. One if you succeed. 1d3 if you fail.
So asking for a friend.
This could be it. This could be it.
What? Wait, should I do this in secret?
No.
Okay. All right.
Let's let
Dr.
our
Atticus Kane.
cards show.
And you have to roll below your current sanity, right?
Yes, at or below your current sanity. Sergeant Buckholz.
I think Buckholz, when that flash went off,
oh, fuck.
he, I think luckily he wasn't really looking at Zwicky and what happened, and he's sort of now focusing on the trauma situation. So I rolled a 23 under my 57 sanity.
Okay. One down. And to be clear, the Kane, I did have you roll an extra sanity directly from witnessing the most. You saw the most, the actual event. So this is the cumulative effect of this confrontation, a life-threatening confrontation, and putting together all these pieces. Counselor?
Counselor Pearson
You may
is
approach the bench.
right now. It's difficult for her to approach the bench right now. So if you remember, her leg is severely injured. Her kneecap is displaced. But she was also nearly strangled to death. So right now she's still, I think, laying on her back, sort of glad to be alive. And I succeeded on my sanity check, only taking 1 point of sanity damage, which still isn't good.
Agent Slater, steady as a rock.
Cool as a cucumber. 40 under 67.
Damn.
He's patting himself on the back.
He's
Good
he's
shoot.
a little disappointed you didn't kill him. No, I'm just kidding. Bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
Buck said he missed
Kane.
the heart.
Yeah. Dr. Kane is starting to fray at the edges. I think seeing a fellow scientist not only perform whatever abilities he is
Call it a miracle.
endowed upon, nope, not going to do it. Endowed upon himself. Now to see him bleeding out on the floor and kneeling next to him, putting his hands on, his body, trying to stop the bleeding, and all the hairs on his body starting to stand on end from whatever electrical charge the Dr. Zwicky is putting off, is beginning to hurt the old psyche, hurt the old dome. So he failed 67 over 55, and we're gonna roll a D6. That's a hard 6.
So D3, that is 3 points. Devin, our resident Delta Green expert, do you break when you reach?
Yes, when you reach the breaking point, you have reached your breaking
That's
point.
rude.
Okay.
That's rude.
The one thing I did kind of
I think you made that up.
let you guys,
I'm going to throw the book at you, Dan.
gave you some forewarning, depending on how the session goes, is that there was going to be a possibility of an abbreviated micro home scene. So Dan, you might want to take a look at
Yeah. No, I got the book. Thanks, bud.
resolving
Thanks.
a breaking point. But in the immediate effect, you're there. And like I said, you have plugged the wound to the best of your immediate ability. Dr. Zwicky is not dying this second.
We're going to jump in there.
Jump in there. There's still the hum of equipment in the background. A drip as that sluice gate has been shut, but dripping down on the floor below. And every once in a while, kind of a mild, like, static discharge.
Buck, you gotta help him.
Yeah, I'm right fucking here.
What do I do? What do I do?
He's stable for now. He's not long though. He needs a hospital.
Yeah, yes. Agent Slater, get the car ready. We need a hospital.
Slater just shakes his head.
What do you mean? He's gonna die.
Sergeant, you brought that trauma kit, right?
Yeah. It's the trunk.
Doctor, we don't even know what he is anymore. We're going to bring him to a hospital with a bunch of civilians.
He's a human still. He's a scientist.
Look what he did to you. Whether he meant it or not. We're not going to bring him into a hospital full of civilians and then have him electrocute everybody.
Pearson's standing up, starting to get her bearings. Picks up the shotgun.
Atticus is on his knees, staring down at Zwicky, trying to reconcile the information that Slater is telling him with the possibility of the man dying beneath him. Buck, can you do anything? Can you save him?
Go to my car, get the trauma kit.
Dr. Atticus Kane leaps up and starts sprinting.
Okay, you run down the catwalk. You hear his footfalls splash through the water, back up the stairs, out the way you came. And
Al,
down
do
the
not
hall.
let him go alone.
You think he's going to take off?
I don't know what he's going to do.
Listen, you two need to tell me what the fuck I'm gonna do. Okay? He's got a couple hours before my patches here. Doesn't matter. Missed his heart, clipped an artery. I don't fucking know. I can't do surgery in this goddamn dam.
I kind of look towards the door and make sure Atticus isn't here, and I say, What's our mission, Audrey? What is our objective here? Make sure this doesn't get into German hands. Recover any information we can.
She nods.
I think the risk of this getting into German hands increases significantly if we try to bring him to a civilian hospital. Not to mention the risk to the public.
Sergeant, I think you're Zwicky's best chance right now.
I think that we have an obligation to try to save his life, but I think that we would be putting civilians and our country in jeopardy if we tried to bring him back to town. That's my opinion.
Pearson gulps.
Yeah, so where's that after this? You gonna call in your team? Okay, not bringing him back to Ithaca.
None of this can get back to Ithaca.
We need to stabilize him, and then once that's done, we decide on our next course of action. But look, we're quite a ways away from any hospital or anything like that anyway, so you'd have to stabilize him here either way. He's not going to survive a ride in a truck on those roads we came down.
Yeah. I was kind of more looking to see if you wanted me. I mean, I don't entirely understand what the fuck is going on here, but whatever this is, whatever those fucking Germans are,
I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Sergeant. I think it's our duty to preserve life.
Let's start with him. I'm going to go after the doctor. And Pearson starts walking as best she can
I believe
to follow the doctor.
It's hobbling.
Hobbling, yes.
For the record, the closest hospital, Buck, you would know this, is in Syracuse, New York. From where you are, it will take at least an hour to get there, at best.
Probably a lot more trying to drive slow to not reopen the wound.
Buck, Slater, does he have any keys on him?
I'll check him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some keys.
I throw you the keys. I say, one of those is probably that truck out there.
She nods. She runs out. She's looking for a key to the padlock. And she's going to hurry as much as she can after Kane.
Dr. Kane, you make your way out of the dam. You're breathing heavily. As you get up to the top of the dam, you get out in the air, you kind of stop at the door and you realize you're hyperventilating. You kind of put your hands in the doorway. You look down to the side and you kind of curse under your breath as you look and you see a electrical alarm that you missed on the way in from that doorway that you came in at the top of the dam. You realize that
He was alerted.
Zwicky knew someone was coming. And you take a moment to get your breathing back under control. You realize that, it's not just the stairs you just ran up, but everything. And you hold there for a moment and then make your way back across the dam and down to the truck. As you're there, you look back across the opening and you see Audrey moving as quick as she can, her cane clicking softly along the top of the dam as she makes her way down across that gravel clearing. Now you find the trauma kit in the back of the truck.
Okay.
And you kind of just pause. Air is quiet. And then
Sniper fire.
shake your head and you step back through that opening you cut in the chain link fence as Audrey approaches. Audrey, you do have a few keys.
Okay.
There's keys to a truck. You maybe checked on the way out. There is keys to the access of the dam.
Okay.
There's a couple other keys in there. One looks like a padlock key as well.
She's going to try that one.
All right. It unlocks. You can open the gate if you want.
Okay.
It is the kind that rolls to the side, like the whole gate kind of rolls heavily. So do you open it?
Yeah, I'll open it and I'll, Doctor, can you drive?
We don't have time, Audrey. The man is bleeding out on the floor.
If he needs to get somewhere, he needs to get somewhere on wheels. Please get in the car.
Fine. He goes over, pops the door open and jumps in and starts the truck.
Okay. You start the truck, bring it in, maybe back it up towards the dam.
Yep.
You do think too to yourself as you look back, okay, if I went to the other end of that hallway you're going towards, it probably eventually ramps up towards that large opening.
Got it.
That big kind of metal roll up door at the edge of the dam. That you can't back the truck down.
Sure.
You can get down to the bottom, and then,
But it would be a way for us to load him without coming all the way through the top.
right.
Yep. Okay.
Back down below. Buck, you're thinking if you're going to work on this guy, up on top of this catwalk is probably not the best place. You figure you could probably find something to make a improvised stretcher and maybe find somewhere to move him to. If you do have to do some work, this isn't the best spot for it.
Yeah, I'll probably ask Slater to help me find something, bring him down, set him on a table.
You guys do a little bit of exploring as Audrey and Kane are moving the truck, getting the medical supplies. Are you guys heading right back? Or are you doing anything else outside?
We're going to close the gate again and lock it so that it looks as if we were never here.
Okay.
And then do any of those keys, do we have access to that overhead door?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say that probably has a lock of its own.
Does it have like an access door next to it, or is it just the roll-up door?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So you probably have a key to the access door, and then it's operated from the inside with just a mechanical
chain.
It's a latch from the inside and a mechanical chain.
Okay. We, I think, work our way back through. I give Audrey a hand up the stairs and then through that access door on the side.
Okay. Buck and Slater, give me a search roll, both of you guys.
Oh, 43 over 41.
Pass.
Okay. I mean, Buck, you find something to make up as a stretcher. There's a lot of as you're exploring the space a little bit more, uncrated equipment. So like a very heavy top of a crate of some of this heavy equipment, along with a couple posts that you can use to probably get this guy on. He's not that big, and move him. Buck, you're moving around a little bit, and you find there's a door that goes off the back side of this. There's a hallway, and as you go through it, you stop and you look to the side. Still in this generator room, there's a body on the ground. It's kind of behind the catwalk. It looks like a man, maybe in his 40s. He's dead. He's dressed in kind of worn, almost workman-like clothes, and it looks like he's been strangled to death.
Sorry, you said Buck.
I'm sorry, I meant Slater.
Yeah.
Slater finding the body.
I say, hey, Buck, take a look at this.
Oh, holy fuck!
Look, I know you gotta stay close to him, but just look at his neck real quick.
Quick inspection. It looks pretty similar to Dr. Laporte's neck.
Feel all squishy.
Squishy, crunchy.
Yeah.
You think it kind of flashes you back to that scene that happened off screen in Halloran's of you dissecting Laporte's body, doing a little post-mortem and what you found in the neck. And you kind of picture that as you're manipulating this man, and you're fairly confident it was the same cause. You notice that he's bound.
Oh, does he have any like a wallet or anything like that?
You find a wallet. There's a couple dollars in it.
That's a lot.
Nice.
And there's an ID. Say.
Okay, like a regular driver's license type thing. Okay.
Roll on the treasure chart.
Well, I'm more just. I mean, I think he's probably someone who worked here.
There's a business card to a unemployment office.
Huh. All right. I take
like
it.
I'm sorry, like a temp agency.
Okay.
Basically.
All right.
Whatever the equivalent of that is in 1940.
Okay.
A work agency.
I say this guy might have
Calloused hands.
this guy might have been a laborer. I was kind of wondering how Zwicky got all this stuff in here. Maybe he hired him, but I didn't think he was that far gone that he'd kill him just to hide his tracks. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it.
Oh, well. Maybe if I can keep him alive, we can find out.
All right. Kane and Audrey, you guys are making your way down this hallway back to the generator room. And you do open that door, Slater, that went out the other way through this generator room. There's another hallway, and this looks more offices.
Okay.
You find some more, there's like a control room kind of place. Some of the controls are in the generator room itself. Others are in here for the actual dam operation. This is kind of the brain center of the dam. And there is a workspace that is clearly been set up as Zwicky's. You see, like down the hallway too, it looks like there's an area that he's kind of set up as a very simple kind of dorm he's been probably staying in. And there is research papers and stuff everywhere. And you also find a few things that immediately take you back to that room in Zwicky's basement. A few tombs and texts.
Nice.
Um,
Fiend folio.
Half bag of Doritos.
There's a painting sitting on, kind of looking very out of place in this industrial / improvised scientific environment. It looks to be some sort of ancient battlefield scene. Do you have history?
No.
Okay. Ancient battlefield, people in armor and weapons, someone that clearly looks like the leader in the center holding a spear aloft.
I do have military science land.
And it looks maybe Middle Eastern, the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sky of the painting, it looks like what you picture you haven't seen one yourself, but a eclipse in the sky over this battlefield.
Oh boy.
You make your way back in. Let's say you had to grab. You found some long posts there that you kind of finished putting together the stretcher as Audrey and Kane come back. And where are you guys going to move him to? You all kind of reassemble up on the catwalk. You've got this stretcher made up. Buck and Slater have just put him on top of it.
I say he's got a bit of a sort of living area set up. I think there might be running water over there. Better lighting than here. You want to try to set up there?
They'll do.
All right.
Careful.
We were able to back the truck up to the rolling doors. If we need to get him to the hospital, that's the best way.
There's something you need to see.
Well, it can wait, can't it?
Well, we're heading that way anyway.
Very well. Let's get him to where Buck can operate on him safely.
All right. Roll in athletics, or you drop his body down the. You carefully move him, and you get into this control room / makeshift research facility. Dan, your eyes sweep over, and you see notes and mostly in German.
Yep, I speak German.
You do. And you probably recognize Zwicky's handwriting.
Sure. Yeah.
You've probably
read some of his research papers and stuff. Yep.
And it's a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a lot of science here, a lot of kind of crazy shit. It would take you a while
to unpack it all.
This, but your eyes are lighting up looking over it. And you
a welcome distraction.
You bring Zwicky and you set him down. You hear a soft groan, and you feel it. The two of you that are carrying him, maybe I think Slater, or maybe not.
No, Slater's arm is busted, right?
Yeah. So actually, it was probably
you.
Kane and Buck.
Mm-hmm.
You both feel like a little static shock as you set the stretcher down. The lighting is good in here. It's a lot cleaner. And you kind of all take a breath as you stand back up.
I kind of, in a daze, like I wake up from setting him down and shrug the pack off my shoulders with the trauma kit in it, and I hand it over to you, Buck.
Good. It's,
What else do you need? How can I help?
Anybody know what kind of blood they got? Him?
Zwicky, no. Myself?
I imagine
Slater would know what kind of blood he has.
I think FBI agents would probably.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable.
You want to roll a luck roll to see if you have O positive?
What's the chance? What's the actual chance in real life?
I think O positive about 20%.
O positive is the universal donor, right?
So 20 or below, we've got O positive.
Buck has his universal donor status. I am.
Oh, should we go off what you are individually? Oh, I'm sorry, 37%.
Oh, all right, 37 or lower.
Let's roll it.
Roll it
What
up.
about, what about to
decide.
match him? Like 37 lower to have O positive.
You
To
don't know what
match
he has,
him-
though.
Yeah.
But to match him is like 85 or higher.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
5. I am a universal donor.
39.
39.
Just an O.
Audrey.
Audrey's standing quietly while the men are discussing telling what blood types they have.
Do you not know, or did you not get it?
Oh, I know.
I say I'm O.
Kane, let's say you know that you have O positive.
Okay. Well, I'm O positive.
Oh, O is like universal recipient, right? So I just made myself a taker. Cool.
So here's what we'll say. I did, before we started, the one thing I said, like I mentioned, we might do this abbreviated home scene. This medicine attempt by Buck is going to take a while. It's going to be some immediate work, kind of some basically field expedient surgery, along with some rest and some follow up to see how it does. So essentially the night into the day is going to pass. I'm going to give Buck a plus 15 on the medicine from Kane's universal donor, from having some blood to work with. We're going to do this improvised home scene. Again, this is not how Delta Green usually works. Usually a home scene is really an extended thing, but I said it would be cool if you guys had a moment to sort of collect yourselves and see where your mind is at. I'm going to allow you guys to mechanically do a home scene, which means resolve all your failed skills, as well as pick one of those home scenes. If you can kind of paint me a picture, whether it's by a flashback, by where your mind goes to over this night that passes into the next day. And at the end of it, we will have Buck roll his medicine roll. I'm going to probably say that a successful roll will stabilize him, but he will still be in a life-threatening situation. A critical success will make it that he's essentially going to make it indefinitely. You know, like you can take care of him, whether it's what you did, a little bit of luck, because we are rolling dice, but he's going to be okay as long as he eventually gets care. A failure, he is dying. A critical failure, he dies on the table.
Okay.
So,
Before we do that,
yes,
can I have some discussions with
of
people?
course, yes.
You should say no, Josh.
I say,
No talk.
Audrey,
we
there's,
roll dice here.
there's something over here. Another body.
She looks kind of lost.
You might want to take a look.
Okay. She starts walking over.
Sergeant Buckles confirmed cause of death is same as Laporte. All the bones in his neck have been crushed to dust.
She's frowning.
Looks like he's some sort of temporary day laborer.
Someone he brought in to move this stuff, or
Slater nods. That's what I was thinking. He's bound.
if he lives, he's going to prison, or there's no excuse for what he's done.
We're looking at multiple counts of murder.
Do you think he's going to live?
I shrug. Are we kind of away from...
I imagine you
Yeah,
are.
Okay.
Just the two of you will say,
I say,
you think back to the last thing he said, at any cost.
if the sergeant is successful, if that man wakes up and tries to kill us, what are we doing? I want to make sure we're on the same page here. I know he's valuable. I know he's much more valuable alive. But I'm not going to let him... I gesture to the body. I'm not going to let him do this to any of us. He almost did it.
I've seen murderers, rapists, kidnappers. I've seen them sentenced in court. They don't all get the justice that they deserve. But there are a select few who are going to be behind bars for the rest of their life And I don't think that's enough.
I'll be honest with you, Audrey, I don't really care what happens to him. I'm more concerned about what's in his head. What happens to that? What happens if we've got...
Well, you know what happens to that.
What happens if we've got one of those in every army squad?
It's dangerous. The first thing the government will do is make a weapon out of it. Whatever scientific knowledge that man has in his head that could better mankind, it will be secondary to how it can be used to destroy our enemies. I don't want to think the things that I'm thinking. I almost hope that Buck can't help him.
Let's focus on the here and now. The next step, right? Our mission is to secure the asset, but we're not going to put our team in jeopardy. So if he wakes up and he makes aggressive action, we're taking him out.
I'll support you. We have a whole building of assets here. I can't even begin to think what we're going to do with this.
We do, and I think they're going to be busy for quite a while. I think we should start going through, maybe organizing things into categories of how important they are.
I think the doctor might be of a different mind as to what should happen to this stuff.
Well, I think he's going to be busy.
Okay, I understand.
All right. I don't think we need to talk to Kane about this, but I want to make sure that Sergeant Buckholz is on the same page as well.
Okay. Why don't I take the doctor then and get an accounting of what we have in this building? That should give you a chance to talk to him.
All right.
Okay. So Audrey is going to pull Kane aside.
Yep. She has a couple of legal pads in her hand. She grabbed from the workspace some pens. And she...
There's some offices as well. Might want to look for antiseptic, anything like that while you're walking that way.
Sure. She writes something down. Dr. Kane?
Kane looks to Buck and says, "You have enough, Buck?"
Baby. Might need more.
Atticus nods. "Call if you do."
Yeah, just be careful.
And he stands and puts his hand on the chair to steady himself, and then turns to Audrey and starts walking after her.
Now, Doctor, I'd like to take a thorough account of the equipment we have in the building to determine what is sensitive and what is not. Do you think you can do that with me?
Yes, of course. But even if the equipment is mundane, it may serve a greater purpose here.
Then we'll take an account of everything.
Agreed.
She hands you a legal pad and a pen.
Atticus is going to start... He doesn't really know where... He stops and thinks about it, knowing that the equipment is probably has its own, settings that it's been, there are so many ways to look at this, and a lot of it probably comes from theory, and then Dr. Zwicky using the equipment to try to prove or disprove those theories. So he's kind of overwhelmed by the scope of this. And I think the first thing he'll want to do is look at one of the offices.
Okay. I'm going to have you, as part of this process going through with Audrey, make 2 rolls.
Sure.
In your last home scene, you developed special training, is that what we called it. Basically allowing you to use your physics skill to roll on the subject matter of dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have you do that.
Okay.
And also, what's the closest thing you have to like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, something like that?
I have mechanical engineering and engineering.
Okay. Whichever is higher.
Okay.
So 1 at the research that's here. Again, a quick assessment. It would take days, weeks, months to really completely understand everything.
Almost didn't make it. 67 under 75.
That's for which one?
That's for the dark matter.
Okay.
And then for science engineering, 52 under 53.
Damn. If it was opposed, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
Audrey has a concerned face as the doctor is moving through this office. She's observing him, and it's not good.
You're doing that, and then you're also going back through the generator room, the control room, taking it all in. During this time, Slater and Buckholz are alone for a bit.
Just one point there. While he's doing this, I think might be the start of either pure obsession or obsession compulsive disorder, which is one of the options for a sanity break. And so this research or trying to understand what's happening, I thought maybe Fugue would be good too, but Fugue is very disconnected. I might use this time to kind of cultivate what that looks like from him.
I like it.
Okay.
Buck and Slater, anything you want to say?
Sergeant, do you think you can do this?
I got no idea.
Look, I want to be straight with you. If this works, if you keep him alive, we don't know what he's capable of. We don't know if he has any sort of healing ability like that the German does.
Yeah,
But
we
I want
know
to
he
make
has the
sure
ability to kill. He's done it
Exactly.
twice. He almost did it a third time.
And I want to make sure that we agree what happens if he wakes up and is aggressive.
What gives you any idea he's not going to be aggressive?
I'm hoping he doesn't wake up. Now, I'm not saying I want him to die, but if we can keep him unconscious, it's better.
It's going to take all night. He's not going to wake up for a while, even if I do succeed.
If he does wake up and he attacks us again, do we have any sedatives?
No. I got a pair
Well,
of cuffs.
If he attacks us again, we're going to have to kill him. I don't see any other way around this.
Fuck, it's the goddamn point you're making me go through this, Slater. You think this is a fucking walk in the park here?
I know. You ever been to an execution?
You ever been through surgery?
They don't do that in New York, right? It's funny. They have a doctor come in, make sure the guy's healthy before they put him in the chair. I always wondered why they did that. Seems kind of stupid, right?
Everybody's got their rights.
I just want to make sure we all agree if he is a threat to us, then we stop him.
Yeah, just make sure your partner there is on the same page too. I don't know if you've noticed, but she's
I
not
know.
fucking handling it well.
I know. She's on the same page.
Just keep an eye on her.
She'll be all right. Look, we all want him to live. Do your best.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. Hearing Buck say that everyone has rights, I'm having real buyer's remorse about the conversation that Audrey had with Slater. Is there any chance we could redo it real quick?
For the
I think her reasoning. I think she's by the books. Everyone has their rights. She doesn't. I don't know.
it can
Just
be
felt-
her
It
crack.
felt weird. It could be. Yeah.
Don't retcon it,
Okay.
because in the moment, after what you witnessed,
That's
you
how
said
she
it,
felt.
and maybe now you're having second thoughts.
It's also like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should just fucking execute
No.
him. Like, I'm saying, like, if our lives are in danger, we will respond with lethal force.
Well, Audrey's blood type is O positive, but she was not willing to. She was not willing to give her blood to the man who tried to kill her, and I think that was like
That's cool.
That was but the conflict was, I think, is that she thinks that he should stand trial. He should go to court for what he did and face a jury of his peers and all that stuff.
awful good.
But
Guess what's never going to happen?
but her instinct,
Even if he survives.
but her instinct, she might believe that is going to happen to a Folly, but her instinct when they were asking what blood types were is she had donor blood and she was not willing to give it to him to save his life. That's what I was.
Cool.
That's what my.
I love
my
the
brain-
conflict.
Well, I
though,
think it's
of-
Yeah.
it's nice to see the kind of behind the scenes of
Yeah. I just don't know if that
Yeah.
came out in the thing because it's
Sure.
I don't know. I felt like I said it more of like she's like, yeah, he can just die. This is a secret operation.
It'd be cool
and
if
stuff
it
like
came
that.
up later.
Sure. Okay.
Dan, Kane's successful roles. Obviously, you don't have time
Sure.
in that to go through it.
Mhm.
What the success made you realize, you think all of Zwicky's dark matter research, including presumably what was missing from his office, everything he has
Is here. Yep.
Just some of it's unbelievable how much he has. This is, and how it's discussed. There is theories in place. There are equations, but beyond that, there are, just looking at it, there are things that
There's working proofs that
there's
have
working
never-
proofs that
yeah.
change everything
Yeah.
that you know about physics.
Yep.
Like EMC out the fucking window.
Mhm.
E equals MC squared out the
Yep.
window. What is discussed here, again, you don't have time to
digest it.
digest it all, but it is reality altering. And it's about accessing dark matter. And there's this phrase that you see repeated on the other side over and over, or through.
You, Audrey, you probably like ran out or you walked out into another room to check something, and you come back and
She was smoking a cigarette in the hallway.
Kane is standing kind of limply at this like desk and these chalkboards that have all sorts of mathematical proofs.
And I'm sorry, one more thing
Yep.
on the mechanical engineering role that you made. The equipment has been used. The generator equipment and everything set up has been used, and there is damage. Whatever happened put a strain on this hydroelectric dam almost beyond its load capacity.
Sure.
You
Do
don't know
I-
if something went wrong
Do
or
I
if
see
something
any
went right.
signs of trying to repair the systems that are in place?
Yeah, there's probably there's burnt wiring that's been replaced. There's coils. There's things that have been replaced. Everything is functional,
Sure.
but damage was done. Whatever that platform is down there,
Mhm.
something was run through it.
Sure. Kind of going back to you coming back into the room, you see Kane there in very kind of quiet awe, and he says, "Audrey,
Yes, Atticus.
everything has changed. The world has changed because of what's here in this room. He's rewriting the building blocks of our universe."
She walks up behind you. Feel a hand on your back. And he was your friend.
He is my friend.
I'm sorry. She takes a look at all this stuff she doesn't understand. She sees the Pearson has a human of 64. Is there any chance I could maybe, from the way that the doctor is speaking or his behavior as she was observing him, that she can tell?
Give me a human roll.
48 under 64.
Dr. Kane is fraying. You don't think he's wrong in terms of what he's explaining to you.
His hands are shaking.
You worry about the effect that it's having or the effects that everything has had on him. And you sense a desperation to know more, to understand it.
Pearson's gonna look at you, very kind eyes. Let's grab what we can, and then let's continue on our accounting.
He's shaking his head as you say that. It's all here, Audrey. It can't be moved. It has to be studied. It has to be. We need teams. We need time. We need money. The resources are incalculable. I can't begin to describe to you what this means. Our world, Audrey, is not as we knew it.
Doctor?
He pulls his gaze kind of distractedly from one of the boards and looks back at you.
It also adopts a look of concern.
Audrey, we have work to do, and it must be done.
Let us make sure that we have everything in order before we do that work. Huh? Come on. We need to go back into the generator room. We need to take an accounting. She shows you the list of all the equipment we have in there. If you are going to continue this work, we need to know exactly what we're working with. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, fine.
And she's going to just sort of usher Dr. Kane out. And then she is going to, as gingerly as she can, quietly as she can, just gather up all of these papers. She has no idea what's on them.
There's filing cabinets.
Oh, fuck.
Worth
Okay.
of papers. And you have no idea what is the most important.
She regards the room for a moment. Is there a lock on this door?
Sure.
She's going to close the door and use the ring of keys and lock it.
Okay. Note, Audrey has the ring of keys.
Ring of keys.
All right. Camera will kind of fade out to black. We're going to do our home scenes now.
Cool.
As the night passes into the next day, you're going to get a little bit of rest, which you can. Buck is going to perform this surgery over the course of a couple kind of sessions, doing what he can do. And you all are going to kind of take stock of where you're at. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I think that while Buck is doing this, if it's okay with Devin, I think that we are moving all of those file cabinets. We're moving all of that shit into the truck.
Sure, yeah. Assuming time passes, she would have come to Slater and expressed extreme concern about the well-being of Dr. Kane, and he's
so which I'm sure takes hours. And while he is doing that, while he is bringing file cabinets to the truck over and over again, he remembers, he opens the door to the truck, and we see the door of a different truck. And inside we see young men, young doughboys on laid out on stretchers, their skin burned and peeling away. And him and another soldier take one of the stretchers out and bring it into a triage tent. They go in, and a frazzled-looking medic comes over, takes a look at the guy on the stretcher, and says, "Over there, left side of the tent." They bring him over, and they put him with other burned-looking guys who are kind of writhing in agony. And he's just kind of standing there overwhelmed for a moment, looking at all the injured people in this tent that have been kind of sorted by the degree of their burns. And someone in the distance, we hear shelling, and someone yells, "Masks on!" And he scrambles, takes his mask off, grabs a mask on a stretcher and starts putting it on someone. And then he looks towards the guy next to him who left his mask in the truck and is kind of in a panic. And he says, "Go get it! Go to the truck!" A few minutes later, he goes out to the truck. Everyone is fine. It was a false alarm. The guy is in the fetal position in the truck, just bawling. And he just puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "It's okay." And he looks at all the scientific documents and sighs and closes the truck doors.
Bam. Fuck.
Do you have an idea of any roll that you might make based off?
Oh, I don't know. How about increase military science?
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not going to recover sanity.
Well, it might kind of help you relate to the situation, at least. You know, you've been here before.
We could recover sanity. Yeah, could try.
why don't you do a willpower, a power roll?
Pow. Okay.
Pow, pow, power wheels.
Fail. 80. Yeah.
Roll 1d6 minus 4.
-1.
Lose 1 sanity. Okay. We fade off from we fade off from Slater standing at the edge of the truck, his eyes very much somewhere else. Where do we go next?
I got one. Audrey isn't much help carrying filing cabinets. She grabbed what she could and filed some things away in her little attaché. She makes her way back up to the roof, and it's dark, I'm guessing. Are there any lights out on the horizon from the top of the hydro dam?
On the dam itself, no. There's just that.
What about what I can
from
see
beyond?
out yonder? Yeah.
Actually, you can see a dim glow to the east, which from your map memory is probably Syracuse.
Okay.
Maybe 30 plus miles away.
She's standing up there, and the sort of lights of Syracuse sort of fade, and we see sort of lights around her begin to fade in. And she's no longer in New York, but she is back in Chicago. She's standing on a roof, and the camera is sort of far behind her, looking out over Lake Michigan. And there's a woman next to her, and we can't see her features, but we know it's Audrey. We know it's someone else. We know that they're laughing. We see a little glint of a bottle as they pass it back between one another. They're smoking and they're laughing and yelling and dancing. And we sort of cut to Audrey's face lit up by these lights, and she's talking sort of giddily, like a schoolgirl, just red-faced and happy. And then that color fades and the lights fade, but Audrey's still talking, and it looks like she's talking to someone else. She turns her head, but there's no one there. And she's just back in Ithaca, talking to herself on the roof of this dam. She tosses her cigarette off the edge of the dam, watches it go all the way down, looks up, imagines the lights of Grand Rapids across the lake, turns and walks back inside.
I like that. Why don't you give me a sanity roll?
Yeah, so I think that was personal motivation. So one of her motivations is see the world through Rosie's eyes, the woman up on top of the roof with her. And even for a moment, if she can just go back to the way things were back in college, very simple, might give her a little bit of help.
Okay.
I succeeded on my sanity.
All right. Add 1 to your sanity.
I'm back, baby.
Man, a lot easier to lose it than it is to gain it.
1D.
1D1.
Buck or Kane?
Yeah, I can come up with something. It's kind of a mishmash of a lot of different things.
Yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, we talked about with the home scene, it being either a personal motivation, which is something that the agent finds meaningful, staying on the case, or studying the unnatural. I think what we see Kane doing, and then on top, layer this on top of it, my my possible disorder from my sanity reaching its kind of threshold. which I think is going to be either obsession with this idea of dark matter, or the other one is kind of a sleep disorder that comes with kind of the result of obsession. So whichever one we kind of think makes the most sense.
I think narratively, the obsession is probably better because of the sleep disorder, I don't see it like
really mattering.
Yeah.
So let's go with obsession. And your agent becomes fixated on some person, place, event, act, or idea. I think dark matter is it. In an acute episode, any long-term action or skill use, anything taking more than a day or two is at negative 20% because your agent's mind is so often wrapped around its obsession.
Okay.
Nice.
I think we find Atticus sitting in a corner of one of these generator rooms. And this home scene is going to be here and now. And something that he did in a moment of his newfound obsession is look for something that he knows that scientists keep, which is a very usually personal log on ideas that come to them, on specific inspiration or calculations that they figure out maybe in the middle of the night, or
It's in his room.
it's in his room.
Under the pillow.
Yep. And he, while they were hauling off all the heavy research, he quietly walked out, found this book, and went and tucked himself away in a quiet corner and began reading through the pages. And I think what happens with Atticus as he reads all this is this duality of amazement and probably somewhere along the borders or limits of his sanity, because what as a child he knew and where he found comfort and conformity was in science, in facts, things that made sense, and that the world acted and accorded to a certain set of rules. And this research now is bit by bit, well, maybe not even that. It's completely eroding that initial foundation. And so you've got this base that is kind of withering away, but in place of it is something new, which is what I think kind of fuels this mania as he is devouring what Dr. Zwicky has discovered.
There's a phrase on one of these pages, just alone, underlined. Dunkelmaterie ist Dunkelenergie. Die Dunkelheit ist Leben. Dark matter is dark energy. The darkness is life.
Jesus Christ. Love it.
What do you think you want to roll on that, Dan?
I honestly don't know, because maybe a skill, because I don't think rolling sanity makes a lot of sense.
No. So one thing, reset your breaking point. You have a new breaking point.
Cool.
Which is where you're at now, minus your POW. So I believe that is 39.
Yes. Yep.
Study the unnatural.
I like that.
I'm so much better than you guys. I've got such a low breaking point right now.
It's about to get even lower.
Roll your current sanity.
Current.
57 over 452. Whew.
Okay. Roll.
Excuse me, 75. I read it backwards.
Oh,
75.
Way
over
off.
Roll a
50.
d4.
Love it. Uno.
Subtract 1 from your sanity and from a bond.
Okay. All right.
And do you have anything in the unnatural right now?
No, I don't.
You told us all not to take that.
Right.
Yep.
Put 10.
Okay.
Can I venture a guess as to which bond degrades after Atticus reads this?
Sergeant Buckles,
Huzzah.
get something for me? For us?
I mean, I think it's going to be stay on the case. I mean, if he's got to do this surgery, it's kind of like
if you want to improve a skill or stat, this isn't Delta Green is certainly not about metagaming, but I will say you have used your medical skill quite a bit. And if you want to kind of use this as a flashback to your past experience summed up with what you've been through and been doing, and do that before you make the roll, you can do that as well. Or you can do the straight mechanical of stay on the case.
I think it's going to be a straight mechanical stay on the case. I mean,
okay.
I don't think he's really going to improve. I mean, there's a reason he left medical school. He didn't. Okay. The pressure of working on a living body, somebody's life in your individual hands, was always the thing that terrified him the most about being a doctor, and him being so good at surgery and working with his hands added pressure to him the whole time. And it was something that he didn't think he could actually take, is killing somebody. Okay. I mean, he's missed every single one of the shots that he's fired in this. I mean, he doesn't necessarily want to kill somebody. Doesn't want that on his conscience.
Okay. What's your criminology?
It's actually 40. It's not horrible.
Success means you uncover some pertinent clue of the handler's devising. Either way, your agent gains 1d6 minus 3 sanity in coming to terms with what's happening or obsessing over it self-destructively. 1d6 minus 3. What do you got?
1.
Net 1. Positive 1?
Yep.
Okay. You gain 1 sanity. You are spending a lot of time physically getting ready and conducting this medical procedure, but your mind is retracing the steps of this case, and you keep coming back to one thing: Dr. Kassler, the questions he was asking, the Germans speeding down that road, the only other person that had access to that laboratory, the only other person in the half of Zwicky's team. And you can't get that web of connections. And you think back to one thing he said about how Zwicky was flitting in and out like a bird. Think about the birds. Matt, give me a medicine roll, plus 15.
Oh, boy.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
That is a success.
Success.
Yowza.
Okay. Also, we'll take a quick second here. Everyone, clear off your failed checks. Roll 1d4 minus 1, minimum 1. So a 1 or 2 is 1.
Give me some of that unarmed combat.
All right. You guys resolve your scores.
I'm level 10 now.
The night passes. Level 10 unnatural.
Yep.
And we'll say it's sometime later the next morning. You guys have also been trying to get a little bit of rest each. I don't know if you're doing actual watches or whatever, but I'm sure not everybody's just racking out straight up at once. People keeping an eye on possibly the outside, keeping an eye on Dr. Zwicky. And say it's the next morning, Slater and Pearson are out by the truck, and Kane is with Buckholz giving one more blood transfusion. And as you let that drip go, Buck, you check his vitals again, and you kind of just take a deep, long breath, and you're pretty sure. You check the bandages again, and you're pretty sure that as best as you're able to, you've stabilized Dr. Zwicky. We'll cut out to Slater and Pearson outside.
Sitting on the back bumper of the truck, and I say, well, it's all in there. Every scrap of paper, every file, every book you had.
-1.
Even the painting. Yeah, minus the one I don't know about. And if half of the ramblings I'm hearing from Kane are true, then this truck might be the most valuable thing in the United States of America.
I've been thinking all night about what we should do with it, and I still don't know. We have a responsibility to the agency.
Slater has a 63 Humint. Do I get the impression that she doesn't want this to get back?
I don't know. Do you think you give that impression, Audrey?
She's very clearly conflicted.
I say, well, what's our primary objective? Retrieve this information, right?
Keep it out of the hands of Nazi spies.
Exactly. Keep it out of hands of Nazi spies. I want to show you something. I open the back of the truck. I say, open that file cabinet. I took all the files out. You open it up and there's a gas canister with a cloth sticking out of it. I say, that's a 5-gallon Molotov cocktail.
Turns and whips her cigarette way off. What the fuck, Al?
If it comes down to it, if it's us or them, if they're going to take this truck, if they're going to get that stuff, it's got to go up in flames.
Okay. She's clearly deferring to you. It's the easy answer, is what someone else says. Al.
So it's there. I close the file cabinet.
The director.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Part of Al wants her to do it anyway. I don't think he's not close enough to breaking where he's gonna, I don't know, unless he sees some real horrible shit in the next 2 episodes, which is quite possible. He doesn't like the idea he doesn't want to do his job. So he's kind of setting up opportunities for failure.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
But I'm sorry, go on.
Al, Director Hoover trusted me with this case. Now, I know a lot of things have changed, things that no one could have foreseen, but I have responsibilities to the Bureau.
Slater's nodding.
As much as I know that I have to do the right thing, the reason I'm not the one in charge is because I shouldn't have to make these decisions.
You might have to. Look, we don't know what's going to happen. Those Germans could track us down.
My blood could have helped save Zwicky, and that's my responsibility. I'm a law enforcement officer as far as this case is concerned.
Slater nods.
And I was unwilling to help him. I could not do it. I don't know if I can do this. I can't make a decision like this. If you tell me to do it, I'll do it. But I don't want. I thought that I had so much more in front of me with the Bureau. But now, I don't know. She lights up another cigarette. She already forgot about the gas canister.
I killed Donnie Vinto. Shot him with a rifle just like this one from 3 blocks away. I think your dad knew it. He brought me out to the murder scene, showed me it. Told me it was an internal mob job. But I think he knew. I'm supposed to protect people too, right? I couldn't protect my son. I didn't give him a fair trial.
Al,
We all do things we regret. I have a feeling we're going to regret this one either way. Whether this gets back to Washington or it goes up in flames somewhere in the woods in New York, we're going to regret it either way. We just got to keep our heads down and do our jobs.
she's nodding. I'm with you. I think whatever we do, we have to believe that we're doing the right thing. We have to.
Yeah.
She closes the door to the truck.
You guys coming back into the dam?
Yeah.
You start making your way down that corridor so that from that sliding door, it ramps down and then kind of flattens out and spans that whole run into the dam. As you're walking down, you suddenly stop. You hear something. Wow. Wow. And you kind of like, you laugh and you turn to the side.
Zwicky's cat.
You see a cat, black, yellow eyes, peer out from you as it kind of wraps around a conduit in the hallway. Meow.
Oh, I forgot he had a cat. I guess he brought it with him.
Audrey immediately softens and she crouches down as best she can. Hi.
Cat kind of slowly walks towards you and sniffs,
Her hand is out.
and it immediately kind of starts rubbing its head against your hand and then, wrapping around between your legs.
She smiles genuinely for the first time in a while. She picks up the cat. Hi.
You see a little collar and has a name tag.
What's the name?
Admiral Purrington.
Well, what are you doing here, sir?
You kind of bend down and scratch it, and it jumps up into your arms.
She picks it up. She holds him.
You kind of affectionately pet it for a second, have a very, very human moment apart from all of this. Back in your makeshift surgery room, you finish the transfusion and you're putting a bandage over Kane's arm. Kane, take a 1 hit point of damage from a couple bloodlettings.
All right. Can I get a ghoul level or something? Or
And as you look down and you see Buck kind of leaning back, he looks tired, bags under his eyes. You see Zwicky's eyes flicker and open. He kind of coughs and looks at you. You see his eyes looking at you very different than you saw them up on the catwalk as you try to approach him. You see a person looking at you.
what's Zwicky's first name again?
Fritz.
I put my hand in his and I say, Fritz, can you hear me?
As soon as I hear you talking to him, Buck is going to draw his pistol and be pointing it at Zwicky.
You're kind of back behind him. He can't see you. And he kind of moves his head heavily in your direction, Kane. Looks up at you and gives your hand a squeeze, and you feel a little static. That's it. He says, Atticus. Mein Gott. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fritz, you there is nothing to be sorry for. You've done it. You have changed the world.
It is... The world is what we have seen. It is not even the tip of the berg floating in the North Sea.
Atticus is nodding his head. I can't pretend to understand it yet.
The darkness, Atticus, it is everything.
Atticus is nodding with him.
It is us, and it is more. Everything. Everything that mankind couldn't understand. The gods, the miracles, the demons, the curses.
And
it was there all along. And it is us.
What does that mean, Fritz? What have you done? How have you done it?
Darkness, dunkel matter, dunkel energy. It is everything, and we are part of it. There's a way. He kind of almost tries to sit up for a second, and
I put my hand like on his shoulder.
He reaches towards his chest.
You've been wounded.
You need to relax. Lay down.
Yes,
don't move.
I found a way.
Through?
Yes.
To the other side?
Yes. I went and we just have to find out, because they know, Atticus.
Who?
The Nazis. They are ahead of us. I know it. They are.
That's why we're here, Fritz, to help you stop them.
I don't know where they are. I thought it was you. I thought it was Laporte. No. I don't know.
It's Kessler.
Atticus' head kind of turned sharply to him. Kessler? Are you sure?
Relax. You both need to calm down.
You see Zwicky's eyes go wide. Kessler. My God. He was right in front of me the whole time.
Does he know about this place, Fritz?
No.
Yes, he does.
How?
He knows?
Doctor.
Oh, God. Oh, no. He strains again and...
Down. Buck's going to holster his weapon, put his hands on his shoulders, and force him to lay back down. Listen, you keep moving, you're not going to make it. Listen, you're stable, but you need serious medical attention. Nothing I can provide here.
Slater and Pearson, you're walking down the hall. You go through the generator room. Admiral Purrington is in Pearson's arm. You keep petting him, and as you get up to the hallway, you feel the cat tense. And then as you get to the doorway, it hisses. You feel the claws dig into you, and it springs away. It stands and kind of arches its back and looks towards the doorway and then runs back out into the generator room.
He outranks us, so we have to follow his orders.
She gives him a salute.
And you come up to the doorway and you look inside and you see Kane kneeling down next to Zwicky. And Zwicky awake, holding Kane's hand.
She instinctively takes a step back and her hand comes up to her throat.
Sergeant?
Who are these men?
They are my friends, Fritz.
Agents?
Agent Alan Slater, FBI. This is my partner, Agent Pearson.
Does he know? If it's Kessler, does he know?
Relax.
Kessler.
Listen. Sit. Doctor, is there a working phone here?
A phone? And telephone in the control room above. They cannot find this. You cannot lead them here.
please relax. Doctor, can you please try to help calm him down?
Yes, of course. Fritz, we were very careful when we found out about this place.
They will stop at nothing.
Agents,
I understand.
follow
Pearson's
me.
already taking off.
I'm gonna lead them out of the room.
Fritz, have some water. I get him a glass of water, and I start trying to calm his nerves.
I say, nice work, Sergeant.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
you-
Listen, that's something clicked tonight. I gut feeling. Castler's the one you're looking for. That's why I was on that road that night.
We haven't even met Kessler.
Does he know we're here?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
that
pretty
was-
sure Atticus told him.
That's why you were on the road?
Yeah, I was outside his house.
So the two guys that we were tailing
Only
were
could have been
heading there.
going there. There's nothing out that way.
Do we have any reason to think Kessler knows where we are?
Atticus told him about the dam, that we were looking for Zwicky.
I told him about the interchange between the where he purchased the equipment from, and that
You don't think you said Cross Lake Dam,
Correct.
Because you didn't know it, but
Correct.
you talked about making the connection and there
Yes.
being a facility.
Yep. but I didn't say cross
The dam? Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you guys having this conversation, Slater?
In
and
the
Buck?
hallway, I
Yeah,
guess?
outside the
Yeah.
doors.
I'm trying to calm Fritz.
Okay.
Ooh, Devin's got a nasty gram. He's folding it up so no one can read it and passing
I
it to
read
the
it all. It's too
passing
late.
it to the dungeon master.
Handler.
Handler?
Okay. Pearson walks past Buck and Slater having this conversation
With purpose.
with purpose. Buck and Slater are kind of frantically going through this. Back in the room, Kane squeezes your hand hard and you feel like
Electricity.
building. And he says, Atticus, you can't face them. They have it. I know. I've seen things.
Fritz,
one of them came to me.
I'm telling you, we've squared with them before, and we've come out on top.
Not if they determined if they know they've been in the shadows. Now they will come with everything. You must do what I did. You must go. You need it. I cannot.
What are you talking about, Fritz?
It is ready. It is ready. It will take.
The platform?
Yes. And the energy and resonance. Seven ways of resonance. Resonance. Has it been done? It can be done in the stars. I found the way. It has been done through nature. We can do it here. And the doorway is opened when life leaves.
You must do it through a sacrifice?
This is not arcane. This is science. And if it is me, or one of them, you must, Atticus. Pearson, you are moving as quick as you can up the stairs.
Almost disregarding her own well-being to get up there as quickly as possible.
You get up there, you look around in the light of day, and you move over, and you see the radio. You move over to it, you start tuning it, and static cuts in and out, and then crackles, and suddenly you kind of freeze, and you turn your head. You look back across the dam, and you see outside the gate a black sedan stopped. And we fade out to black.
Oh, I'm going to start blasting.
It's probably just like the Amazon guy, right?
Yeah.
Delivering packages.
He's standing outside the gate with his fist.
thank you for listening to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This has been the Ithaca Project. Our intro music is Walkin' with Michael Douglas by Wilhelm Scream. Outro music, Dark Ritual by Adrian von Ziegler. All scores by Adrian von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. If you enjoy the show, please take the time to give us a rating, tell a friend, and find us and interact with us on the webs. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email, Reddit, all that shit. And of course, see you next Tuesday.
That's nasty.